the west of you in Fisher, and obviously well north of Mahomet in the Mansfield area. This is going to the north and to the east. So the direction this is going is to the north and east, but right now we are seeing definite signs of rotation on this storm as it's going to be crossing. It's already crossed 136 now, probably going to be coming close to 47 here before too long. North and west of Fisher is where the rotation is on that. Going to be sliding right there into the Foosland area. That is a location that if you live in that general area, that's where my concern is the highest right now. And as that's going to come, there's also the right there in Foosland, the postal service that is located in there, the post office that's there. You know, right there as it crosses over the Lone Tree Creek, that's an area of concern. And again, eventually down the line, you're talking about Gibson City. We'll have to see if the Chicago Weather Service goes ahead and extends this warning into Ford County. Again, they would be responsible for it. But the way this is looking on radar, that is definitely something that we need to be taking seriously because the rotation is very evident there when you look at some of these colors here that are showing up on this. Okay, so let's go back over to the reflectivity. And so there is our storm. It's kind of tough to see, but it'd probably be in this general area right here. Here's Highway 47, 136, and this is where that potential tornado is. We've already had several reports of this. These storms today producing tornadoes, and so this one should be no different. Sounds like the Bellflower has got their sirens that are going off. I will say this, Bellflower, you're going to be in the clear on this. I know you're technically in that warning, but the concern is right there. Going to be north of 136 between Lotus and Foosland. That is where we've got a potential tornado developing once again. This is radar indicated right now, radar indicated, but it doesn't take long, as we showed you earlier, where this thing could have a little funnel with it, then all of a sudden it's dropping down that funnel to the ground, producing a tornado and sometimes some damage with it. So we're going to watch this here carefully, get the new updated radar scan. It's going to come across. And what we will also be able to look at here in just a second is whether or not we've had any debris, because this thing might be coming right through close to Foosland. And if it goes through there, obviously going to be some structures out there. And okay, I think we got is there a new warning that just got issued here? Yeah, okay, so
City and Elliott.
Okay, so now it's going to be, they've extended this now into Ford County. No surprise there, as we still have that rotation. The Weather Service, they're extending this. Is that right? They've gone ahead. Yeah. So tornado warning now in effect there into Ford County. This does include Gibson City. We'll kind of back this out. Let's switch it back over to the reflectivity. There's the new tornado warning in effect. Gibson City to Elliott, as that comes right there on the south side of Gibson City before too long. Looks like it's going to pass between Gibson City and Fisher. Right now, the area of concern, as I mentioned, right there into the Foosland area as that comes into the small town there. But the rotation is still very evident, showing up here on radar. As we'll switch back over to that. Again, that's kind of coming into town there on the south and west side of town. The new updated radar scan is going to put this. I just see some really intense rotation and definitely some strong winds with this as well. I think this thing is really spinning. Whether or not we have something on the ground, it's tough to say. You might as well treat it as that. So Gibson City now, your tornado sirens are most likely going to be going off in your area there as well. Again, there's not been a ton of lightning, not a ton of lightning on this, but we do have a camera that is in Gibson City that we're going to be kind of watching there. Again, obviously dark. This is the problem you have at nighttime. That's what you see, okay? Unless you get some lightning strikes, and I can tell you, not a ton of lightning with these. So I can tell you right now that there is a definite concern as this storm just moved through Foosland and is now going to be coming into southern portions of Ford County there. Let's come back over to the radar. Gibson City, this does include you. going to be coming there right along 47 before too long. This storm is just passed through Bellflower, where there may have been a tornado just a little bit ago, as that kind of came through. Getting reports of some funnel clouds that are out there with this. And you can see there's our storm of highest concern. So going to be coming there south of Gibson City. Right now, when we look at the rotation on this, you can see it right there. You can see how significant that is. The colors that you're looking at right here, really strong winds. And what we can do is actually ask the radar to kind of tell us, hey, what are some of the wind speeds located in that? And I think you're looking at, some pretty strong winds that the radar is seeing. When I'm just kind of looking off to the side here, possibly some 75-mile-per-hour winds, if nothing less. Because you've got the tornadic potential. There will still be just some strong winds with that as well. But that tornado warning now impacting extreme northwestern portions of Champaign County. And again, now into Ford County, Gibson City and Elliott. You need to be in your tornado safe spot right now. Updated radar scan looks like now north and east of Foosland is where this is. The updated radar now plotting this to the north and to the east. I'm going to see what... might switch over to the Chicago radar here. Jacob, are you up there right now? Jacob, I think we've got Jacob that is out there. He was out there earlier on their storm near Maroa. And we're going to check in there with him here in just a second to see if he's got any reports for us. But the storm, again, is going to cross right along the Champaign and right there where the curves are. If you travel 47 there, you know where the curves are located. That's exactly where the tornadic circulation is going to be, probably just to the west of that right now. So when you travel 47, you're going towards Gibson City out of Mahomet, you hit those curves, and that's exactly where that rotation is. And it is pretty strong there on radar, so we've got to be watching that very carefully there. And Jacob is out there. Jacob, are you still back down towards Maroa there? He's still back towards Maroa. You had a report earlier from, I believe, Bellflower, you said, when this storm was down there. What did you hear down there?
Yeah, I heard production say I was in Bellflower. Storm Tracker can't be everywhere at once. But what I will say is my dad is actually following that storm from Bellflower, and he said at this point he has not seen power flashes. They have seen a well-defined lowering, though, and they are just to the south of Foosland. They're watching it move off to the north. And Gibson City, my hometown, too. I really wish I could be there, Kevin, but of course my dad's there covering the storm as it continues to move just past Foosland now. So I wanted to pass that along, and I'll be in communication with him and other folks in that area to bring you more information as we're still here in Maroa covering the damage from the earlier tornado. Kevin, back to you.
Okay, yeah, so Jacob's going to be there with us here and probably going to be doing some coverage, checking in with them from the earlier tornadoes that occurred near Maroa. We had some other reports near, I believe, Niantic and possibly Mount Auburn, Mount Pulaski. But right now, the concern is with our storm that is located here right near Foosland. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take things, I'm going to switch things over here real quick to another one of our radar products that we use here. And it kind of gives you the split view of everything. And so what you were seeing here is rotation north and west of Foosland, and you can kind of see it here down in the bottom right hand of your screen, basically a product we use to kind of show some of the rotation in this here. And it's literally going to be sitting right on the county line. Okay, just kind of back it out so you can get your bearings straight here as well. So basically you're looking at 4 different panels here. But you can see near Gibson City, south of Gibson City is where that is located. But the rotation itself is going to be right on the county line that you can see there. I'm just going to go about to the one panel to kind of show you this and the rotation that we've got, basically where those greens and reds, orange, kind of pinks kind of all come together. That's your rotation right here. My mouse is going across is the county line, the Champaign and Ford County line, where they've continued this warning. So this is going to pass, it looks like, between Gibson City and Elliott, if it would stay kind of on a northeasterly trajectory, maybe closer to Elliott than Gibson City. We'll have to see. But you may kind of get clipped on the by some of the heavy rainfall there coming into Gibson City. But that rotation on this south of town and going to be crossing 47 in the next minute or so. So that's just another view as our updated radar scan just kind of came in. Again, it's almost going to be kind of in this area here. We got a little bit of a notch in here, so a little bit of inflow on this is where that tornadic potential is. Again, rotating pretty good. I've not seen any signs of debris, and we look at what's called our correlation coefficient, which would basically tell us, hey, we've had a tornado and it's lofted debris. I'm not quite seeing that just yet, but again, we are into some pretty rural portions of Ford and Champaign County right now, but that rotation sitting right on the county line right now, north and east of Foosland, south of Gibson City, and there is Elliott, locations that we definitely have concern for at this time. As we switch things back over to the wider view, I want to show you, we do have another tornado now, tornado warning on the west side of Decatur. This is a new one as well. So tornado warning now for Macon County. That is coming right into the west side of town. That is, okay, we're definitely seeing a rotation on this as well. So we are concerned about now another storm there on the west side of Decatur. We're seeing rotation on it. And boy, we're going to want to switch to our Decatur camera here and see what we can see on that because there is another storm that is definitely showing some rotation on it coming on the west side of town. So now we've got two tornado warnings here, and this is now right there on the west side of town coming into downtown Decatur. Concern has definitely grown as this storm has started to strengthen by quite a bit. Rotation right there, right along, gosh, that's going to be coming right into downtown. That storm is coming in there right now. And just kind of, there's been really strengthened in the past kind of 5 minutes or so. But the Weather Service indicating that they've got some definite rotation on this. And this is coming into downtown Decatur. Let me see if I can switch over to our camera, see what we can see here. Obviously, it's going to be really dark. I'm going to just kind of pan around on this because this thing should be coming right into the downtown area here right now. I'm trying to get my bearings straight on where we are located. And I'm just going to pan around because right now there is a potential tornado coming right into Decatur from what we can see there on radar. And we're just going to try to visually see it. Again, it's just now that it's dark, it makes it really tough to kind of pick anything out. But we're going to look for our power flashes. Okay, that's the thing that can indicate that you may have something is if you see any power flashes, that's going to be kind of a greenish color that will kind of pop up, and that'll indicate that you have a tornado there that is hit something. And so I'm just going to kind of pan things around here a little bit with our camera. Again, high level of concern there in Decatur, especially right downtown and on the northwest side of town there as well. For that concern, we're just gonna kind of be looking at things here and seeing what we can see. That's what it looks like there. Adam, I'm gonna have you control that. I'm gonna come back over to radar, and then you tell me if you kind of see anything that is popping up on the shots there. I'll let you kind of handle that. But we've got two areas of concern. The one right there, right into Decatur, and that is a very evident kind of inflow, and where we've got rotation on that storm coming into downtown Decatur on the northwest side of town right now. Potential tornado. Definitely be in your tornado safe spot as we speak, because you can see we're right in the heart of town there. All the streets that are popping up there. That tornado along 36 Grand Avenue in that general area there, right there, going to be west of 51, but crossing 51 in the next minute or so, and then lifting to the north and east. Okay, so we've got to do multiple things here because we've got two storms of concern. Now let's talk about the one up here in Gibson City now, between Gibson City and Elliott. That storm also still showing signs of rotation on it. That's going to be south of Gibson City. South there of Gibson City, then along Highway 9. The rotation on this one right just east of 57 now. When we switch over to our rotation, it's going to be just east of, 47, just east of 47 there and southeast of Gibson City. But if you're in Elliott right now, you want to take shelter because that storm, again, is coming right to the north and to the east coming out of kind of the southeast side of Gibson City is where this is going to be, and then traveling to the north and east to near Elliott. So we have two storms now that are tornado warned at nighttime in the middle of the dark, very difficult to see anything. So two different areas of concern that we've got. This one in downtown Decatur, literally coming through the downtown Decatur area right now. I'd be curious because that thing has wound up pretty good, and I have a high level of concern there in Decatur as that storm now crossing over 51. Going to be coming there on the north and west side of town, where we have some definite rotation on this. Take a look at it when we switch it over. You kind of see those reds and greens right next to one another. Rotation is seen there, and that's going to be right along Grand Avenue, right there at 51 and Grand, and kind of hitting the northwest side of town. We're going to be carefully watching this here and see if we get any reports of what they're seeing there. Adam, have you seen any kind of power flashes or anything on our camera?
No, Kevin, but what I have seen is I've seen a decrease in visibility out to the west. I don't know if that's a rainfall or if that's just a little bit of the lower level clouds moving through. I just noticed that I noticed a decrease as I panned to one side or the other on the west side of town, or what looks like the west side of town where I'm looking at right now. A little bit more of a decrease, and I don't know if it's the heavy rainfall or not, but just wanted to throw that out there that it went from easier to see to harder to see out there. So that's one thing to keep an eye out for too, is that I'm sure there's probably even some heavy rainfall making it hard to hear. If you're listening for those sirens, that would be hard to hear if you're hearing that rain pounding down as well.
Okay. Perfect, Adam, I appreciate it. So that's the camera view there in Decatur. This is now going to be kind of passing just on the north side of town now. So I'm going to let you just kind of keep panning around and positioning that. But we're going to come back to our storm here because now it's kind of right there from the center part of town and then just kind of north. So the northern half of Decatur, here is where that is now, that updated, kind of maybe even on the northeast side of downtown is what you're kind of looking at there. And that's going to be coming right up to 48. Going to be coming to Highway 7 or I-72 before too long as well. This thing is there's definitely some rotation on this, and there is that concern. We're just going to kind of bounce back and forth between these two tornado warned storms because we do have the one now coming into Elliott, and they seem to be kind of picking up a little bit more of their speed on this here as well. So as this storm now comes into Elliott on the west side of town, there it is. There's your rotation again. See the brighter colors that are showing up right here. This is Highway 9 between Gibson City and Elliott. Rotation is very clear on that there. And that storm could produce a tornado at any time. We're seeing that on our storm tracker Doppler when we look at just the velocity on that. So if you're in Elliott, if you're on the kind of southeast, if you live just southeast of Gibson City there, between 47 and 9 there, that's where the rotation is. It will largely miss Gibson City, but Elliott, you are definitely under the gun. If you look down the line, you're going to be talking about areas between Melvin and Paxton. As we I'm just going to back this out a little bit, between Melvin and Paxton is where this would eventually kind of pass in between, and Roberts as well. So that's who is currently still under the tornado warning associated with this cell there. So two locations definitely concerned about. I want to bounce back over to Decatur now, the northeast side of town. The northeast side of town, we have rotation on this, and we're trying to see if we can hear any other reports from this, but you can see it when we show you the velocity, when those yellows and those greens are right next to one another. What you essentially have is rotation, and that rotation is right there. And that's going to be over Pershing Road. Pershing Road there on the northeast side of town. East of 51 now is where some of that rotation is located. It's going to be east of 51, but in that spot right there, if you are anywhere in Decatur right now, especially on the northeast sides of town, that's where the rotation is very evident on radar. We back it out a little bit there now, kind of coming there. It's going to be crossing I-72 before too long here as well. So we've got meteorologist Jacob Dickey that's actually up here in Forsyth. He's probably coming down 51 there and potentially going to hop on 72 there and is going to have that circulation that's going to come to him. Jacob, you're probably in some heavy rainfall there as well. I know you're in Forsyth. You're a little bit off there, but to your north and west from your location is probably where you can see anything. But here's the problem you have, and I know you're going to probably repeat it. It's dark. It's raining. It's going to be difficult to see anything.
Yeah, that's right, Kevin. There is just a little bit of lightning, but not enough that's going to help us give a good vantage point on this. If there is something that is down at this point, we would think it would produce damage and potential power flashes. And at this point, that would be just to the left of the screen that you're looking at here. We're coming up to the mall in Forsyth, and we'll get on the interstate and sneak to the east there as it heads towards us. Eventually, Argenta, Oriana. We'll watch those towns as well, but just kind of keeping an eye on that. I do have a report from my dad in Gibson City. He says that they are in Gibson City at this point. The lights are on. They have not seen anything. They are going to sit on the east side of town and keep an eye on it, and they are going to let me know if there's anything from there as well. The one thing here in Forsyth, there's not a lot of heavy rain per se. It's raining, but it's nothing that's insane and absurd per any means. And I don't really feel like these storms have really had a lot of heavy downpours over large areas. Certainly, I would think, though, between me and that circulation in Decatur, there's going to be some rain, and we'll be keeping it safe, keeping a safe distance back, but reporting as we see things here in Forsyth, moving into Decatur. Kevin, we're live in the storm tracker here during the news at 6. I'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks a lot. So that storm there, again, he's up there in Forsyth. Basically, we're near Larkdale there where the reds and the greens are kind of coming together. That is where the rotation is currently located there into the northeast side of Decatur right now. Here's 72, and of course Highway 48. We can get off the exit right there. One of the first exits you can kind of get into Decatur. You get on 48 there. Basically, that's exactly where that is. If you're along I-72 and 48, it's going to be right there where the Pilot travel center is there, the big gas station that's located there. That's right there. That's where the rotation is at this time. And that is going to cross 72 as we speak. And that's going to start to lift to the north and to the east. And you're talking about Oriana. And as we mentioned there, Argenta down the line. So this thing's going to kind of follow 48. I would say, because again, here's your rotation right here. It's lifting to the north and east, so right there between 48, and then as 72 kind of curves a little bit more to the north and east coming out. So tornado warning continues there. We still have some of the rotation with it. Here's a look at the reflectivity on that as well, where you've got that little inflow. This is the air that comes into the storm here, and sometimes you get that rotation in that general area. Let's go back up to our other storm. We're kind of ping-ponging back and forth between our two tornado-warned storms. Here's the one, Gibson City to Elliott. A lot of heavy rainfall there probably in Gibson City right now. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna switch back over to our cameras here. That camera is there in Decatur that Adam has been kind of panning around and kind of looking at some things. And then I'm gonna switch over to our Gibson City camera here right now and see if we can see anything. You can see just through the headlights there, you can see the heavy rain that is falling right now, but obviously nothing evident there for us. There is still some rotation. The rotation itself for that storm is now right on top of Elliott. And so I'm going to go back in and zoom into that area to kind of show where that is. Again, you can see how limited. I know there's so many of you watching in Danville and Watseka and Effingham and Shelbyville, and are saying, we haven't had anything. These have been really isolated in nature, but when you get underneath one of these, they've been rotating, and they have caused damage. We've had some tornadoes out there tonight, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute, and go to some of our reporters that have been out in the field talking about and kind of assessing some of the damage. But I want to show you the storm here that is in Elliott, because the rotation is right on top of them. Definitely some gusty winds. And this storm is going to travel north along Highway 54. So 54 that comes out of Gibson City, eventually coming up towards Melvin and Roberts. That's where this is going to be going. And then eventually coming up there across 115, and then here's I-57 well off here to the east. So rotation located right here, going to the north and to the east. Hopefully this can kind of miss some of the larger towns and whatnot. You would be going through some more rural portions of Ford County there. If it does so, obviously there's still some farms and housing that is out there there, but less populated area. We're still seeing that. The tornado warning does continue for Ford County there. So let's show you that, and we'll come back over to our storm here in northeast Decatur, now heading towards Oriana. If you're up in Oriana right now, you definitely want to be taking shelter in this general area here, as well as this continues off to the north and to the east. Let's see, the Weather Service is continuing that tornado warning. Radar indicated that is until 6:30 p.m. That one's moving to the northeast at 30 miles per hour. Storm capable of producing a tornado. Also there in Decatur that we're watching, the continuing that warning as that moves at 25 miles per hour as well. So if we put a little bit of a storm path on this to let you know exactly where that's going, and we'll come up here to the north and east and kind of plot this out. You can see some of the cities down the line. Cisco, you're going to want to be on the lookout for that, and just kind of watch that storm as it kind of comes in, and still has the potential to produce a tornado. We've not heard of any confirmations, but here's the problem we have. I'll just tell you, at nighttime it becomes a lot harder to kind of find these, and you get less storm spotters who are out at night because it's more difficult and it's actually more dangerous at nighttime when you can't actually see anything. So sometimes you get less reports coming in, even though you may still have a tornado that is out there as well. So I tell you, you guys let me know back there, but if we have any field reporters or anybody that is ready to go with any information, let us know. If not, we're just going to continue on here with our coverage. Again, we have got 2 tornado warned storms that we're watching. The one that is now into northeastern Macon County. I know that we've had Jacob out there in the storm tracker. We had some of the damage from earlier. And Jacob there, I believe you're on 72. Is that right? Have you hopped on 72 and kind of following that now in the storm tracker? What do you got?
Hey, Kevin, we are just at the Illinois 48 I-72 exit here. I'm going to pull over real quick because the rotation is in front of me at this point. And once we get off here, we're going to take the highway back off just so we're not on a major interstate with limited accessibility here. If there is this tornado, it would be right in front of us. You're looking at the camera there. We're on the off-ramp to get onto 48 where that pilot you were talking about, that's right to my right here. And so we're behind this storm and we'll be watching things. It does seem like to me, Kevin, that maybe it's pivoted to the right just a little bit. That might be good news for Oriana and Argenta. It's still a close call, though. This might split the gap between Cisco and Saragota based on the path that it's heading. So we're going to watch it. It's very hard for you to make anything out, but I can tell you the lights from Decatur and the ADM plant are helping to at least show me that I can see a very subtle base here of this storm. But it's dark. It's hard to see. You're right. We're going to have trouble getting any reports unless we see power flashes from this. We'll follow the storm and keep you updated. Of course, we've got that other footage that showed earlier during the daylight what happened in Maroa, and we're continuing to see these storms cause problems into the night. Do want to follow up in Ford County. Have not heard any new information from there. I think that's good news, but still, it's a very close call for Gibson City and Elliott, concerned for those areas. Kevin, we're in the storm tracker. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Yeah, so the rotation you were talking about there, so he's right there at 48, and so I'm going to show you where Jacob is basically, he's right here at this exit at 48 and 72. The rotation for him is straight in front of him, and basically going to be between Oriana and then the Oakley area. That's where that rotation is, and so he's just kind of waiting there, because if he got on the highway there, because 72 kind of curves back to the northwest, he'd kind of drive right into it. So he's going to wait a second until this rotation, possibly goes north of 72. But like you said, it did take maybe a little bit more of a right turn. So there's still this rotation that is located there that we're kind of watching. It's going to be between Oriana and Oakley. That is where the tornado warning continues. Here's what it looks like when you look at the reflectivity on this. And I know it sometimes it kind of looks a little messy. You can't always tell, what's going on there. But within that, you've got rotation that is occurring. And so you're going to be right down in here. And it may not look like anything. You may typically think, well, isn't the worst part in the red? Well, the worst part in the red, a lot of times, is going to be your heavy rainfall and the hail. Kind of today, these radar signatures have looked a little bit different, where you get sometimes more in the rain-free base of the storm. You get less of that reflectivity and energy coming back from the Doppler radar. So it may not look like, you may not see those reds and whatnot there, but you still may have rotation and where the actual tornado is located. So now the concern again is going to be between Argenta, kind of south of Argenta and Orienta, and between the Oakley area. As that goes to the north and to the east, switching back over just to try to kind of pick out where some of the rotation is located, and it is right there, going to be, I think, now east of Orienta, and probably right along I-72 is where that is. So right there is essentially kind of what I'm looking at. Right there along I-72, east of Orienta. That's your rotation with that. We'll see if they continue, because this is about to get out of northeastern Macon County. At least the polygon there, you can see it does continue there. We'll see if they carry this to Cisco. So down the line, Cisco, you want to be kind of paying attention there because they may extend this tornado warning into portions of Piatt County there before too long as that storm kind of moves to the north and east. So just kind of a heads up there. As of right now, there is rotation. It's weaker. Okay, it's not super strong, but you can see it right here where these reds and greens are located. Basically, you're looking at winds blowing away from the radar towards the radar, and essentially what you've got is in that general area at least some kind of a weak rotation associated with it. And this is what we've kind of seen all day. These have not been strong tornadoes like you know, that you sometimes see out in the plains. These can be sometimes you know, these little brief spin ups, and some of the damage, while yes, you get hit by one of these, that's an issue, and you're going to have damage, you know, if these come on top of you there. But we're not talking about tornadoes that are just, you know, leveling you know, homes and whatnot. These are usually kind of the weaker type, but we're definitely seeing some rotation on the storm here, especially east of Orienta. And Jacob, you're located there. You think you've seen maybe some kind of rotation?
Yeah, Kevin, we are just now heading east from Orienta. About a mile in front of me is the bridge over 72. Just to my left here, that is the Orienta Fire Station. I tell you what, when I was driving, I kind of glanced over to the side. The visibility here is not good. It's dark, but I can barely make out a feature. And there did appear to be a triangle-shaped feature down from the clouds here. It's a bit wide. It didn't strike me like the funnel we saw earlier by Illiopolis and the one in Maroa, the tornado that hit there, but it still did catch my eye, and it was in the right spot. You were talking about 72 east of Orienta. We're going to be crossing 72, hit Argenta Road, and kind of snake our way here. One other problem we're going to have with this, Kevin, is this is going to almost ride along the Sangamon River, perhaps, based on the path, and that's just not good for the road network. There's limited bridges and trees, so that puts us at another disadvantage in the storm tracker, which is why I plan to stay back at a safe distance from this. But still, we will let you know if we see anything else here. Now getting back into the rain as we're approaching I-72 east of Orienta. We'll cross to Argenta Road and then kind of snake our way around to get to the other side here. Live east of Orienta in the storm tracker, I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We'll send it back to you, Kevin.
All right, thanks a lot, Jacob. So I want to just kind of show you guys the wide view of things here, because I know there's a ton of people maybe in Champaign or Tuscola or Danville and Hoopston, and they're going, hey, listen, it's calm. Charleston, Mattoon, Effingham, it's calm. Literally, we're looking at two little cells. And I call them little because they really are not taking up a ton of real estate in comparison to the whole area. So many of you are in the clear right now. The two storms we're watching, the one that Jacob was just talking about near Orienta. And as we zoom down in on that storm in northeastern Macon County, still showing some signs of rotation on it. And that is going to be passing there right along I-72. And we're going to watch there towards Cisco. Right now, the Weather Service not continuing the tornado warning further to the north and east just yet, but they're still watching that area. We'll see if they carry it further into Macon or maybe even into Piatt County, because now our rotation there is going to be getting out of the, so there's the polygon box. Here's your rotation now that is going to be south and east of Argenta. And right in south and east of I-72 is where that is. So it's right literally on the edge, and they've not carried this this warning on, because I don't think they've heard of any reports or anything. So that's that. Now let's come back over to our second tornado warning storm. That's the one we've been watching up here east of Gibson City to Elliott and Melvin. That one kind of getting a little bit more elongated, and now you've still got some rotation there south of Melvin, where that tornado warning is still in effect. We'll see if the Weather Service carries that one a little bit more to the north and east or not. Hopefully, we can continue a weakening trend of these storms. And when we kind of show you the path that these have been on over the last 30 minutes, you can see how that storm is going to continue to track and eventually into Iroquois County, the movement of that one. And then let's come back to our storm here into northeastern Macon County. That's going to be heading towards Cisco here in the next 10 to 15 minutes, and still some rotation associated with it out there as well. I'll tell you what we can do if we have any, Jennifer, go ahead.
Step in here for
Please.
a second. We are getting reports that the Mount Zion Walmart doors are shut, registers closed, no shopping. Everybody is in the back of the building. That's what Ryan is saying. And then somebody chimed in on that same thread saying, hold on, where is it? Oh, the Forsyth Mall locked as well. Nicole says she's currently chilling in the Ross fitting rooms. So that was 12 minutes ago. So people are heeding the warnings and kind of locked down wherever they are, just making sure that they are safe. And then Joshua said Kroger South Shores said they're still shopping there. Anyway, so that's what we're getting on Facebook. But we do have Marley Capper. She was out at the silo. She talked to somebody out there. We're going to get a report from her pretty soon. But everybody on this thread is just saying, be safe, take cover. Make sure that you're listening to these guys here because they have the latest information.
All right, thanks a lot. We do have a new tornado warning. We were just talking about how that storm it was just about to get out of the current tornado warning polygon, and now this has been extended. So now Cisco and Monticello, your tornado sirens, if not going off right now, will be soon. Your weather radios, your apps should be alerting you right now because now they've continued this tornado warning for the rest of northeastern Macon County and now into Piatt County here as well. It stretches north and east all the way to Monticello, because of the rotation that's still showing up here. So let's kind of show you who's next in line as we track this. Cisco, you're next, as the rotation is going to be crossing over Highway 32 here before too long, where that rotation is located. When we switch it over, there it is, still showing up right where those reds and greens are. Here is Cisco, Highway 32 here, and again, this is just going to be east of 72. If you're traveling east on 72, it is basically on the right-hand side of I-72, but that's going to be coming in to Cisco. We're going to have to watch that carefully there. Jacob, I know that you are in that general location. The rotation for you is going to be just past the, just east of Argenta there, just kind of south of the exit. What are you seeing?
Yeah, Kevin, we're at the Friends Creek Rest Area up here, and just northeast of Decatur. We decided at the Argenta exit to take off to the north and east on 72. I think that's going to keep me just north of it. Ooh, there was a lightning bolt there. That's going to get us to Cisco here in about 5 minutes. Just seeing the storm, the way it's heading, I wanted to get around it, and I think this is the best course of action for me. The rain, though, is coming down very heavy. A lot of drivers on here are slowing down. There's people that are stopped at the rest area as well here, and I'm sure how many times the wireless emergency alerts on my phone have gone off for folks that are driving on the interstate. The same story here. Best course of action for those that are driving in the interstates: get to the rest area, get to a nearby gas station, convenience store, and you stay off the roads until this storm passes. Coming very close to Cisco here in the next bit. We'll be there in just a little bit from now, and we'll try and think about maybe even just heading over to Monticello to get ahead of this thing here, Kevin. That's what I think is probably the best course of action. If you've got something else that you think I should do, let me know, but I think this is going to keep us out of the rotation, which is just to my 2 or 3 miles. Kevin, back to you.
Yeah, I keep following along there. It's still showing some decent signs of rotation. I'm a little concerned there if this would hold together and you get something to drop down for Cisco. So definitely there in Cisco, you need to be in your tornado safe spot right now because the rotation is very close to you. The rotating part of that storm is now just about 4 miles or so to your southwest. Jennifer?
Tony telling me on Facebook sirens are going off in Monticello right now.
Okay, sirens going off in Monticello right now. Now, just for purposes here, Monticello, you're still a good distance away here from this, okay? You're still, 10, 11 miles away from the rotating part of that, but this is great news because this gives you guys a big heads up to be able to go into your tornado safe spots. Right now, the rotation is going to be coming right there. That's going to be along Newburgh Road, or 1300 North Road, south and west of Cisco. That's your rotating part of the storm right there. Cisco is located right here. Let me move the map just a little bit more. You've got less than a minute there in Cisco before some of that rotation is going to be coming in on top of you. Please be in your tornado safe spot right now. The rotation is there. It also looks like that the rotation itself may be what's called rain wrapped. It's very difficult to see because when you look at this, I'm just going to switch back and forth here. So you see this rotation that's right there. When we look at this, you can see the red color shows all of the heavy rainfall that is there. Jacob, if you're in Cisco there, you're going to be really close to some of that rotation. What do you see in there right now?
Thing that doesn't help this is there's a lot of heavy rain between me and that rotation. We're a mile just outside of Cisco at the exit there. We're going to race through Cisco and head to the east there. This is probably some of the heaviest rain I've seen yet. The wind also really blowing from southwest to northeast at this point. So we are turning onto 32 and we'll be heading east into Cisco. I can see the lights from Cisco barely in this rain right now. From my vantage point, Kevin, I think the circulation is still just to my south along the county road. Are you able to confirm that by chance?
Yeah, it's just south of you on the county road. If you're on 32 there, it's literally going to be coming into the southwest side of Cisco like right now. That's exactly what the rotation is coming into the south. Yep.
Yeah, okay, so that's not going to be an issue. The problem is the heavy rain, torrential downpours here, causing reduced visibility, but I'm confident we'll be fine in the storm tracker as we move into Cisco and head to the east. Probably follow the Highway 32 to the east. That takes me off to Monticello. Is that correct? 32 to Monticello?
Yeah, you can hop on there and just kind of follow that old Route 47 there that comes into Monticello there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's the old Route 47 there. Where earlier we were there was a big brush fire a couple months ago, right there along 47 that we captured. So yeah, as you come out of Cisco,
I think it's old. Yeah, it's definitely old. There's a bunch of potholes all over the place here.
Yeah.
Bumping around in the storm tracker, but we're going to keep moving. The lights are on in Cisco at this point. If you're familiar, the Cisco Center is right to my right. You turn right down, 32 south, that's right. That takes me to Cerro Gordo. I'm at 32 in Cisco where it goes to south, and I'm going to keep going to the east there on 47. So that's where we are. A lot of rain. We're not seeing anything at this point, but at this point I'm confident that we'll be in front of this and be just fine, but it's still going to be a very close call for Cisco where we're at right now.
Okay, very good. Jacob, yeah, the rotation is going to be right in the Cisco area here. I will say it is weaker, but it's something that we're going to watch there. Jessica's got some other information coming into us over there. Jessica, what do you got?
Yeah, we have reporters calling around. Jumping back to Macon County, Hickory Point Mall in Forsyth says it's up to individual stores right now whether they want to close their gates and shelter. They say it's about 50-50. Some shoppers and stores are sheltering, some aren't. But the mall itself isn't totally locked up at this point. And we just got an email just a minute ago that the Monticello T-Town game has been suspended because of that tornado warning. We'll continue to keep an eye on what's happening here. We've got people calling around to local EMA agencies, police and sheriff's offices to get damage reports as well.
All right, thanks a lot. So again, we're watching a couple different areas here. The rotation that is literally right over Cisco right now, going to be traveling right along I-72 down the line, Monticello. You want to be in your tornado safe spot there as well, just in case that this thing can develop, quickly develop another funnel and touch down. We had damage earlier in Maroa as that storm came through, and we're going to show you some of that footage here in just a little bit. But we want to talk about the two tornado-warned storms we've got because they have carried this new one on now into Iroquois County. So the one that was up into Ford County, we talked about it near Melvin. They are still the Weather Service in Chicago, who's in charge of issuing warnings for our Ford and Iroquois County friends up there. They have extended this now, basically coming right close to the Gilman area. So you're talking about Fallville and Onarga to Roberts there, right along Highway 9 there is that travels to the north and east there, or I should say 54 coming out of Melvin and then into Roberts there in Thawville, where you're going to have some of that rotation. So they've gone ahead and said, hey, we're still seeing some of the rotation with this, so let's go ahead and continue the tornado warning. So that is now in effect for Iroquois County as well. So you can see there the two polygon boxes that we've got tornado warnings that are in effect. And so now you need to take shelter there anywhere between Onarga, Ridgeville to Thawville, as that storm there does show rotation. I will say it's a little bit weaker than what we have seen here as of late, but we don't want to let our guard down here just yet because of just the history of this storm and what it's been seeing. But some of that rotation now is kind of located south and east of Roberts. Between Roberts and Buckley is where some of that is located. And so as we switch this over to the velocity, you can see kind of some of that right here in this general area. That's the rotating part of the storm. Here's Buckley, here's Roberts, and that's the rotation that is now pretty much going to be heading out of Ford County here and crossing into the Iroquois County area. So that's why the tornado warning continues. All right, let's come back to our other one, and we continue to kind of have to ping pong back and forth. The rotating part of that storm now east of Cisco, and I will admit that it does look like that one is looking a little bit less put together than what it did just a little bit ago, but I don't want you to let your guard down here just yet because these things have been cycling quite a bit. But that rotation is definitely now east of Cisco, going to be traveling right along 72. And kind of where Jacob has been located, he's now getting kind of east of the storm there, and kind of getting ahead of it and heading towards Monticello, because that's where this is going to be headed. Okay, so look at this area here. Notice the colors are not as bright. That's an indication of weaker rotation. There is still rotation because the red and greens are still next to one another. You've still got something going on here, just maybe a little bit weaker. But it is literally going to be right there along I-72 at this point. If you've got friends or family that are traveling along there right now, say they're heading east, I would hold them, say, hey, hold off there at Cisco if you can, or if you're traveling out of Decatur, just hold on, because this thing is riding right along the interstate right now on I-72. And Jacob is now ahead of the storm, and I think he's going to be coming close to Monticello, so he's going to start looking back west into the storm there. Jacob, what are you seeing there now that you're approaching Monticello?
Yeah, Kevin, I actually turned back around at the FS plant that's there just west of Monticello. I got ahead of the rain and out of that, and I turned around to catch a little bit of vantage point for what I can. It's not great visibility here tonight with the rain and the trees along the old railroad tracks here on Old 47. So we'll turn around just a little bit, and I get to the next intersection. I'll keep heading back to the east there. I have not seen anything. There's not been any power flashes. Just checked in up in Ford County from my dad. No power flashes up there either. That doesn't mean that there hasn't been something, but at least that's a sign that maybe the power infrastructure hasn't got damaged. That tornado earlier in Maroa, Kevin, it came through one of the farms, and we didn't have any power flashes there either. It was on the weaker side. So just because we're not seeing that does not mean there is a tornado down at any point. I just want to clarify that here. So we're going to probably turn back around here, trying to make something out in the darkness. Head back towards Monticello. Wanted to let you know what we're seeing. Back to you, Kevin, in the studio.
All right, very good. We'll continue to kind of monitor there. This is the problem, darkness. You can't see much. We're going to do our best to kind of see if we get any reports coming into us from here, but it's dark. You can't see these things. A lot of times these are going to be rain wrapped, so you can't go out and you try to look for the funnel yourself. They're just so difficult. You need to kind of take shelter. We're going to watch this carefully because, listen, a lot of people there in Monticello watching here tonight and wondering what's going on. And we're going to let you know as this storm continues to move off here to the north and east. So we just kind of put a little bit of a path on this here. Again, the latest movement between 25 and 30 miles per hour. And if this would kind of stay on the same path there, you're looking to Monticello here in the next, 4 to 5 minutes. And listen, down the line, if it would hold together, Seymour, Mahomet, okay, you're in the middle of this, if it would hold together, but we're hoping some of the weakening can start to occur with this, and we can hopefully start to say goodbye to all these tornado warnings, but we're not quite there yet. So 2 areas, again, just to reiterate, look how much of the viewing area has nothing. Danville, Crispin, Charleston, Shelbyville, Effingham, you guys are not seeing anything. Tuscola. Okay, right now, the 2 areas of concern, if I just kind of had to come over and go, all right, I'm concerned about these areas. Basically, it's going to be up here, heading into Iroquois County, and then right now, portions of Piatt County. Then as you kind of go to the north and east, we're just going to watch those 2 general areas over the next half an hour or so as those 2 storms move in. If I have not circled your area, I'm not concerned about your location right now because we don't have any warnings or any other storms that are near you. But the 2 locations we are still going to be monitoring include the one up here near Roberts and going to be passing right there along Highway 54 out of Thawville, between Roberts and Thawville. And let's kind of try to find some of the rotation on this. And so it's kind of difficult to see, but looks like there might still be something trying to show up there. South of Thawville and between Thawville and Roberts is where the tornado warning is continuing. So Buckley, you're kind of on the edge of that, but let's look down the line. In Onarga, you are under the tornado warning. If this thing can strengthen at all and could put down a tornado pretty quick, we want to watch out for that. And again, we got another little cell that's kind of developing towards Gibson City. That's why you might be getting a little bit of rain, but not seeing any rotation on that. Some other little tiny cells here between Farmer City and Mahomet. Nothing severe on that. Now, here's the cell we want to continue to watch now because it's coming into the Monticello area here in the next few minutes or so. Still seeing some rotation, but it is definitely weaker than what it was a little bit earlier. Jennifer Orozco with more information coming into us here as people are hearing some of these sirens and whatnot probably going off.
Yeah, we've got some news from Monticello. Our reporter's calling County Market in Monticello. Employees are in the break room and some shoppers are as well. And then Andy Olson, he contacted, I don't know if this is the superintendent or maybe the AD over at Monticello High School, because we told you that the basketball game has been suspended right now. They're going to play T-Town. And they are saying they are in holding. And Andy said sheltering in place, and he said yes. So that's all the information we have right now from Monticello High School as well.
Okay, very good. Appreciate it. Let's bounce back to Jacob now, who's almost into Monticello. That rotation is going to be just to the west of Monticello. Jacob, what do you got?
Hey, Kevin, if you look at that storm on radar, it almost looks like an upside-down horseshoe with lighter rain in the middle. That's where we are here. And it kind of helped out when the rain stopped. I could make out some features in the clouds here, especially with, now we're driving back into that rain here by the FS plant. I could make out some turbulence in the sky. There were little fingers here and there, maybe a little scuddy looking. The problem is without good lighting here, it's hard to make out what's happening, but I still could see the horizon and did not make out any visible structure that had connected with the ground at that point. But it did give me a good eye on it, and it's something I think we just can't rule out still at this point. If something does happen and we see power flashes, we'll be right here on it, but we're going to keep sneaking out these. We're about 3 or 4 miles west of Monticello. We're passing by Allerton Park, the road that drops south for that. So that's where we are, if you're familiar with that area. It starts to get a little more populated along the Sangamon River. There's subdivisions to my right and along this area. And so I think folks in this area, best course of action, course of least regret, is to head to shelter, and we'll keep giving you the all clear when this storm passes. Live just outside Monticello in the Storm Tracker, I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. Back to you.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that storm has weakened quite a bit from earlier, so that's definitely some good news. You're not seeing as much of those reds and oranges and whatnot, so it definitely looks like it's trying to weaken, so that's good for those of you that are in Monticello. We don't want to give you that all clear just yet because that storm could still ramp up pretty quick, but it is something that we are continuing to watch. If we're just kind of looking down the line, Lodge and Whiteheath here, and I know that storm may eventually come towards Mahomet or Mansfield or Seymour. We're going to watch that carefully, but if the trend continues, which is a good trend, and that's a weakening trend, maybe we won't have to worry worry so far down the line than some of those other earlier mentioned cities, towns, and villages there. But right now, some of that rotation is still showing up north and kind of west of Monticello. It is super weak compared to what it was just a little bit earlier. And then we come back over to our other storm up into Iroquois County. That one trying to come together a little bit more potentially. So we're watching that between Thawville and Buckley. If you are in the Onarga area, you want to be taking shelter there as well with that storm. Tornado warning continues as well. I know so earlier today, this afternoon, we had some tornadic activity, confirmation of tornadoes that did occur. We showed you live on the air a tornado that occurred west of Maroa, kind of the northwest side of town. We're going to be bringing some information about that coming up here in just a little bit. We want to get you through these tornado warnings that are still in effect for so many of you that are out there here tonight and watching us. Now 6:39 p.m. Kind of be doing coverage here for about 3 hours now, kind of off and on as these storms just kind of keep going. They keep kind of holding themselves together, but eventually we're going to lose some of the energy and the heating that's going to help things out here a little bit. It's been a real active day out there for sure, and we got a lot more with what's been happening here throughout the course of this evening. Let's send it over to Jessica and Jennifer.
We've been following this active weather across the area all day long.
That's right, very active day. At least one tornado touched down near Maroa in Macon County. WCI3's Marley Capper was there and saw the damage and sent us this video.
Right now I'm on I-51 and near the Washington exit in Maroa. There's been some crazy strong winds here. As you can see right here, this is some bits and pieces of a grain bin that was taken down by the tornado that came through here. Now I spoke with a woman who lives a few minutes away. She says she heard it all and it was pretty crazy for her.
And I knew it hit a metal building of some sort, and it just went bam, you know, and then you could hear the metal twisting. That's about what I could hear. And I thought, oh my goodness, it's on the ground, it's hit something, you know, and then I went in. A little late, but I went in.
You through the edge of the polygon. It's going to move into Jones County, and that'll put it at Rainy at about 6:58, 7:10 in areas of Tawanta, also 7:19 in areas of Ellisville.
at the moment. Are you seeing anything new that's it's starting to come out of Weather Service chat?
If you're in a hotel, when you get to the bottom floor, that's going to be your safest place. Of course, a basement, a storm shelter would be the most ideal place as well. But we are looking at this rotation right now, and it's approaching the Highway 49 corridor, moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. That's going to be moving into areas of Sanford, also into Rainey, Highway 590, and into 588. The very edge of our polygon is going to be including areas of Mount Zion and also Moselle included in this polygon. But it may possibly miss some of these the Moselle area and the Shelton if it continues to move on this northeastern pass. Here's a few of those smaller roads we're talking about. Union Church Road coming into your area. Sanford right now. Bethel Church Road. You want to be in your safe place at this time. Also around Highway 49, don't want to be traveling. That's a well-traveled road around this time of the evening. We want to make sure everyone is out of their vehicles and in a sturdy structure. If you know anyone down here in this area of town, go ahead and give them a call and tell them to find their safe place at this time. So we've got County Farm Road also moving into that area, Seminary, Casco, Tormanian Road, River Road, Rogers Road, areas of Oak Bowery, 588. Again, another highway that we're concerned with. Don't want anyone traveling there. 590, also Stringer Road, Hoskins Creek, and areas of Oak Bowery. We're continuing to see this fairly a large tornado warning polygon at this time, and I'm seeing the secondary circulation we were talking about weaken, which is good. I want to go ahead and check the correlation coefficient just to make sure we're not seeing any confirmation that there's a tornado on the ground. And good news is we don't see any kind of debris ball at this time. Taking it back a few scans, we can see this loop just showing a lot of noise at this time, and it is far away from the radar site. Of course, we're looking at the radar site in Jackson in Rankin County. So right now, not seeing any type of indication that we've got a confirmed tornado touching down, but still going to treat this as if it is. We want you to find your safe place. The last couple of scans, we're not seeing this rotation weaken at all. Right now, it's approaching Sanford, and it's about to pass Highway 49. Here's Highway 49, and it's moving at about 30 miles per hour to the north and east towards areas of Rainey and Highway 590. We're going to drag this all the way down to the bottom of your screen so we can track it out at about 30 miles per hour just to get a better idea of when it's going to get to your area here in the next couple of minutes. So we've got 6:50 now. You got about 5 minutes to get in your safe place if you're in Sanford. 6:59 in Shelton. 7:07 though in Moselle. You've got a good amount of lead time now to find your safe place. Tawanta 7:13, 7:22 in Ellisville, 7:28 in Pecan Grove. So it just gives you a roundabout idea. If anything, shave a few minutes off of these estimated times of arrival because we want to make sure you're in that safe place well before the storm reaches your area. And now, regardless if we do see, and we've got an update now of where that polygon has been drawn now, it's continuing to move further downstream into Jones County, and that is as expected with that strong, fairly impressive area of rotation with the velocity couplet we're looking at right now. So we'll take this box off and just show you where it's moving now, basically on top of Highway 49. So if we have a tornado on the ground, it's going to be crossing over 49 right now. But regardless, we've got very strong indication of rotation of those wind speeds going away from the radar. This red color, green color indicating winds going towards the radar. So we know that we've got a velocity couplet that has posed a threat to possibly produce a tornado on the ground. So right now it's going to be moving into areas of Shelton, 590, also Mount Zion. Once again, Rainey, you're just now to the north and the north of where the center of circulation is. Sanford, it is on top of you right now. You do not have any time to get in your safe place. Once again, just checking that we don't have any kind of debris being lofted into the air. And good news, we do not at this time. Let's go back to our radar just to show you how potent this storm is right now. We're seeing not only these rotating winds, but tons of strong lightning, dangerous lightning at that if you were outdoors. We encourage you not to go find this storm, not to look. Only trained storm spotters should be out right now watching for these types of storms. We've got lots of lightning, heavy downpours. We know possibly looking at a threat for flash flooding as well. But for now, I'm going to send things back over to Chief Meteorologist Ken South for another look of what's going on out across the region. Ken?
All right, thank you, Gracie. And again, this is really the only game in town. We don't have much happening around the storm, which is bad in terms of anything competing with the storm. We would like for this to be in some kind of line. We think that it might weaken if that were the case, if it were competing against other storms in the area, but it really isn't. It's sitting out here all by itself in an unstable environment, which means that it could go for several more minutes. Again, the rotation, as Gracie was just showing you, actually looked pretty good. It looks pretty healthy right now as it continues to track off to the north and to the east. Again, this is the thunderstorm right there. This is the cell. And just by looking at this, you really wouldn't know exactly where the rotation is. What part of the storm are we seeing rotating winds? We don't really see any kind of hook out there with this blob of rain. So because of that, we're going to have to analyze it in a couple of different ways. So what we want to do is take a look at that velocity product once again. As we take a look at that, we are seeing reds and greens right there. That at least gives us an indication of what's happening with these wind speeds and wind motion within the storm, which tells us that right now, as Gracie was pointing out, that rotation is pretty close to Highway 49 and the Sanford area. And we know that it's moving to the northeast at about 30, which means if you live in Jones County, the storm is moving in your direction, and more specifically in the southwestern parts of Jones County. Let's check out the hail with the storm. That is something that we always look for to see how intense this storm is. We do see at least some small hail potentially being generated by the storm in southern Covington County. Also lightning with the storm. If you see a lot of lightning strikes, a cluster of lightning strikes, that tells us that there's a lot of motion within the storm, and that is happening here. Hundreds of lightning strikes with this supercell. So this is a dangerous storm because of the lightning, because of the hail, the heavy rain, the very strong winds, and the potential that it could be putting down a tornado. So let's go ahead and take a look at Live IMAX 2 full screen for you, and we'll zoom right on in to the affected area. Now let's take the lightning off so you can get a better idea of where at least the rain is with that storm. And it's basically south of Collins in southern Covington County. It's raining around Seminary, but as we get a closer look in, it's really right around the Sanford area. And we know that because we can take a look at the velocity product. We can take a look at the wind speed and direction within the storm. And as we take a look at it right around Sanford, you can clearly tell that we've got winds moving toward the radar site here, which is what the green indicates, and red indicates winds moving away from the radar site. That is right over the Sanford area. So Sanford, you need to be in your safe spot if you're in that community or anywhere near there, but also if you live east or northeast of Sanford, because that's where the storm is moving. So let's take all of this off. We're just going to take a look at the velocity product, and we'll push this back on the bottom left portion of the screen, and we're going to circle where that rotation is. That's where we have the potential for a tornado. Now, we say a potential for a tornado because we don't know that one is actually being produced right now because we don't have confirmation from a debris signature on radar or from a storm spotter that is in the area. But the potential is there. It could be happening. We just can't say for sure that it's happening right at this very moment. But the potential is there for a tornado to be produced by this severe thunderstorm, and if it is happening, and it is going to be moving off to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So over the next 20 to 25 minutes, we're looking at these areas, mostly now in Jones County, that are going to be in the path of the storm. Now, we've called out some of these communities before, but we're looking at Tawanta at about 7:15. That is the very end of the warning for this particular cell. The current tornado warning goes in Jones County, and it expires at 7:15. So at that time, we'll see if there's enough of a rotation there to continue this warning downstream for the rest of Jones County. Knowing that, and knowing that it hasn't really weakened very much, if you live in Jones County, anywhere north and east of Tawanta, places like Ellisville, even in Laurel, anywhere to the northeast of Rainey and Towanda, Tucker's Crossing, Crotts, Ellisville, Walters, Laurel, Clio, if the warning is continued farther downstream over the next, let's say 10, 15 minutes, I would assume that we're going to get an update here likely within about the next 15 minutes about what's going to happen with the storm, but it's been holding together pretty well. So you have to assume that there's going to be another warning farther to the northeast of where the current warning is. So even though you may not be in the warning right now, you may not be hearing the tornado sirens in Ellisville, you need to be thinking about where to go in case a warning is issued for your area. You need to find your safe spot, think about where that's going to be, and if a warning is issued, you need to be able to get there pretty quickly. Of course, we want your safe spot to be underground in a tornado shelter or a basement. If you don't have that, lowest floor, small interior room, putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and staying away from windows. So while we've been talking here, the radar has been updating, and we can clearly see that we've got the bright greens and the bright reds right next to one another, and some of these wind speeds are beginning to increase a little bit. These are some of the higher wind speeds that I've seen right now approaching the county line between Covington and Jones County. So that's approaching the communities of Rainey and Shelton. We got winds moving like this, and then winds moving like this. So right around Old Highway 49 to the east, to the west of Rainey, along Old Highway 49 to the west of Rainey, we have got a rotating thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado, and it is moving in your direction if you live near the community of Rainey at 30 miles per hour. So this is how long it's going to take to get to the community of Rainey. It's about 3 miles away, and it's going to take less than 5 minutes to get to that community. Again, as the radar is updating here, you can see how the rotating part of the storm is now beginning to shift from Covington County into Jones County. I would say the rotating part of the storm is right on the county line right now between Sanford and Rainey, and it's moving to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So let's track it out in that direction, moving at 30. Well, we're going to track it all the way out to about Ellisville over the next 30 minutes. Remember, the current warning is until 7:15. That's the next 19 minutes, but we're going to track it out for 30 minutes, assuming that the warning is going to be continued downstream. So that would put Rainey, of course, in the path of the storm over the next few minutes, but also eventually Towanda at about 7:15, Benson at 7:17, and then Ellisville at about 7:22. So the current time is 6:56. It's going to be around Ellisville at 7:22. You've got a good, let's say, 15 to 20 minutes to get to where you need it to be. If you know people around the Ellisville area that may be on the roadway right now, you need to call them and tell them that they need to get off the roads. They need to find a close by sturdy structure and take shelter from the storm, because a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is going to be moving across your area in about 20 minutes time. Now, for more on the storm, we'll send it back over to Gracie.
Thank you, Ken. Yeah, let's just go ahead and examine exactly what's happening. Like Ken said, this is the center of circulation right here. We've got the red and the greens coming together. We know we have rotation in the atmosphere, at least. We don't know there's a tornado being put down on the ground right now, but we're going to treat it like it is. So take extra precaution. Remember to get in your safe place if you are included in this red polygon right now. This is going to be Covington County, but this is an area of circulation. The center of it is now crossing over from Covington County into Jones County. So here it is. I just want to go ahead and make sure we all know where exactly we're looking at that this possible rotation could be. Circling it now just north of Sanford and also northwest of Shelton. Sanford, though, you are out of you're not under the gun anymore. Seminary, you're not under this threat for this possible tornado and rotating thunderstorm. We've got Sanford in the clear, Highway 49 well past Highway 49 now. It's moving into Jones County at northeast at about 30 miles per hour. It will be approaching Highway 590 here in the next couple of minutes. Also 588. And there we go. We have now that trimmed off. What I was just telling you, those areas in the clear have now been let go and the tornado warning has expired for you. They've continued it downstream though into Jones County because of this circulation that is really holding together fairly nicely, and we don't want to see that, but unfortunately we still have a fairly impressive area of circulation right here just to the west of Rainey, south of 590, also south of 588. All of these areas are going to be under the gun for this possible rotating thunderstorm. Right now we have no confirmation that we have a tornado on the ground. Still far away from the radar site, so it's hard to tell, but with the National Weather Service would also let us know if we have eyes on this storm and eyes on a potential tornado on the ground. And as of now, we do not see that. We just know that it's moving 30 miles per hour northeast, and it's just southwest of Ellisville. So that's what we're going to focus on right now. Now, Interstate 59 is a well-traveled road. So right now, this polygon is including that. In the very southern part of this polygon, Interstate 59, excuse me, is going to be included in there. So if you know anyone traveling at this time of the evening, possibly traveling along Interstate 59, go ahead and give them a call and tell them they do not need to be in a vehicle right now. That's not a good place to be in a tornado-warned storm. So I want to go back to the velocity and show you the latest update of this scan and where the center of circulation is, and it's going to be right on top of Rainey right now. Here's these red and green colors coming together, and where we can expect it to be moving right here is Riles Road. We got Rainey Road approaching there. Also 590 within minutes. It's going to be crossing 590. We've got Crosby Road, River Road, Hoskins Creek, also Pittman Road, all in the way of this downstream of this rotating thunderstorm. I'm going to go ahead and track it out all the way through the edge of this polygon and even further than that so we can get a better idea. Once again, we saw this hold together for the last several minutes, and this tornado warning is going to expire in the next 15 minutes, but I would not be surprised if it really held together and continued even past this current tornado warning polygon. So I am going to track this out at 30 miles per hour from the center of circulation just northwest of Shelton, and it's going to be moving over Interstate 59. I'm going to bring it just past the polygon right now just to give you an idea. It's better to be safe than sorry. If you're even outside of this polygon, I want you to go ahead and think of where you can go and get in your safe place now. 7:02, you've got about 2 minutes in Rainey. I've been saying it's right on top of you. Towanda, 7:14, you've got a good amount of lead time. Go ahead and grab that stuff that you need and head to your safe place. 7:18, Benson, 7:23 in Ellisville, 7:29 in Pecan Grove as well. So here we've got a rotating thunderstorm now in Jones County. So strictly in Jones County is what we're on air for at this time, and in areas that are under possibly going to be looking at impacted by this rotating thunderstorm is including Shelton, Towanda, Ellisville. You're right outside of the polygon, but you're not far from it. You can see updating now. Looks like that is the new radar scan, and it looks as if it could be weakening just slightly. We're still seeing that indication of rotation right there on top of Rainey. So south or north of this center of circulation will be Riverside Church Road, also Hoskins Creek. You are north of that, but of course you could take a more northerly turn and go into your region. You're under a tornado warning polygon right now. That's why we're cutting into regular programming, because we have a tornado warned storm at this time that we are trying to just give you the most recent updates on here, and you can see we've got rotating winds in the atmosphere that radar is detecting. Right now, no confirmation of a tornado on the ground. Very noisy here on the debris tracker. The correlation coefficient is what we call it. It's a product we can use to determine if any debris is being lofted into the air. That would be anything different than a raindrop, and the radar can detect if we have a tornado on the ground that is causing debris across the region. So still fairly strong circulation here that we're looking at. Red and greens coming together. We've got red color right here. This is indicating wind speeds going away from the radar, and the green is indicating winds that are going towards the radar. So if you're in Rainey or Shelton, you need to be in your safe place right now as the center of circulation is over you, but it's moving to the north and east at 30 miles per hour, moving towards 590 and Pittman Road, also Highway 11, and all of those areas need to be be taking precaution right now. Mount Zion, you're on the very edge of this polygon, but it is important to also be in your safe place. Graves Road, and just outside of this polygon is going to be Walters and Ellisville now. So I want to track it out once again at 30 miles per hour. If I'm correct, I believe that's still the speed of this storm according to the latest updates on the National Weather Service. So it seems that if the cell is losing some of its structure, I believe we're talking about this rotating thunderstorm now in Jones County, but we're still going to be watching it closely. We've got about 12 minutes now until this expires, so we're going to stay on air with you and just until we can feel more confident that this is not going to pose a threat or put down a tornado in this region. So let's track it out just one more time and give you a better idea of when you can be expecting this. You could see the last couple of scans with the radar updating. It is losing some of that. It's broadening out, so it's not as tight of a couplet. And there you go, one more update for us. Now it's moving it's south of 590, but still moving to the north and east towards Highway 588, towards Mount Zion, and towards moving over Interstate 59 as well. So I'm going to drag this all the way up to the top, just outside of this polygon one more time. So 722 in Ellisville. If this center of circulation holds together, that's when it's going to be entering your area. 727 in Walters. And once again, we have an indication of rotation here. We do not know for sure that there is a tornado on the ground, but we are going to treat it as if it is. Let's look at the correlation coefficient and just make sure we don't have anything that we could possibly be seeing. Very noisy out there, and this is good news that we don't have a defined debris ball at what we're looking at right now. But of course, we know even if there's not a tornado on the ground, it's a dangerous thunderstorm. Been talking about this. All modes of severe weather are going to be possible. And even without the severe weather, look how much lightning we're seeing right now. It is definitely dangerous to be outside regardless of where you are across the region. Let's just look at how much we're seeing here in the last couple of minutes. We've got almost over 200 strikes of lightning that could be posing a threat. We know positive strikes of lightning are even more so of a threat than our regular strikes of lightning as well. So let's just go ahead and look at zooming out now to the big picture of everyone across the region. We are on air because we have an active tornado warning that will be in place for the next 10 minutes for strictly Jones County. That is including Interstate 59, excuse me. That storm is just around there, but elsewhere across the region, it's still active. We've had several severe thunderstorm warnings just north and around the metro. Those have expired. We've got another one off to our west along the river and moving into Adams County, and it is posing a threat for some pretty large hail that we've seen. We even heard of some reports in Lee County of, I believe, ping pong sized hail and close to it. So all of these storms are fairly potent. Right now, though, our biggest concern is going to be this storm that is in Jones County. And as of the latest radar scans, we're looking at it's still holding together fairly well. Here's that rotation. We've got just north now, northeast of Rainey, north of Shelton. Here's Interstate 59, though, so we don't want anyone traveling along Interstate 59. Here's 590. The center of circulation is on top of 590 right now. No traveling here as well. If you are included in this, if you know anyone here in Jones County, in southwestern Jones County, go ahead and give them a call. Tell them that they could possibly be looking at a rotating thunderstorm, putting down a tornado at any time. Right now, we're going to continue to watch this very carefully and analyze exactly what is happening. I'm going to zoom in here, get a closer idea of where we can be expecting this. Here's the center of circulation. We've got red and greens. Here's Hoskins Creek, Sand Hill Township Road, Sand Hill Road, once again, 588, Buffalo Hill Road. All of these areas going to be under the gun for this potential tornado, but we know it's a rotating thunderstorm. On the very edge of this polygon, you've got a little bit more lead time if you are along, or you know anyone along Messamore Road, Benton Pitts Drive, also Buffalo Hill Road, Mount Zion, Graves Road. All of these could possibly be impacted by this very strong thunderstorm with rotating winds right now. Tawanta, this storm is just to the west of you, so possibly could be impacted by straight line winds or this rotation, but as of now, we know that it's moving north and east because of where this polygon is and our last update on this particular cell. You can see it right here. It'll be approaching 590 in the next couple of minutes. And looking at our correlation coefficient one more time, just not seeing anything too impressive, which is great news. We don't want to see debris lofted into the air. We don't want to have a confirmed tornado on the ground. But as of now, we know that it could possibly at any time be putting one down. This tornado warning does expire in a few minutes at 7:15 for Jones County. But for now, we are still having team coverage here. I'm going to send it back over to Chief Meteorologist Ken South.
All right, thank you, Gracie. That's meteorologist Gracie Dinkhaus. Very good analysis of what's happening right now in Jones County. And we do want to emphasize that it is now just a Jones County storm. The other counties that this warning was originally issued for, they've been taken out of the warning. So you're out of the warning in Covington, Forest, Lamar, Jefferson Davis, and Marion counties. It's just southwestern Jones County where we have this red polygon. That is our current tornado warning. Still moving off to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. This severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. I want to give you a broad overview, though, of what's happening, because across a good portion of the state, let's say the southeastern two-thirds of the state, there's going to be a potential for severe weather through about midnight tonight. There is a severe thunderstorm watch. That's the blue shaded area, which means conditions are favorable for the development of severe thunderstorms, and in close to the watch area that can produce quarter-sized hail or larger, or 60-mile-per-hour wind gust or stronger. Now, there is another severe thunderstorm right there on the opposite side of the state, along the Mississippi River, Concordia Parish, moving into Adams County. That warning also set to expire at 7:15, just like the current tornado warning for Jones County. This cell moving to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. It's capable of producing 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. But, of course, the reason we're on air right now is because of our tornado warning, and that's the cell that, of course, is producing the rotation that has prompted the tornado warning. Now, we've got the lightning on here. We've got dozens, if not hundreds, of lightning strikes over the past several minutes, which is an indication that it is a very intense thunderstorms. And lightning, dangerous aspect to any of these storms, so you need to be inside when they are rolling through. Let's take a look at Live Eye Max 2 full screen, and as we do that, we'll zoom right on into the heart of the storm. We're going to take off the lightning, and we're going to turn on the velocity here so you can see where the storm is rotating. So we mentioned this community several times before, but it is now really close to Tawanta in Jones County. That would be south and west of Ellisville by just a few miles. So that is now about 2 miles away from crossing Interstate 59 and Highway 11. It's going to take it about 4 minutes to cross the interstate because, remember, it's moving at about 30 miles per hour. And right now, I think it should be crossing the interstate somewhere south of Ellisville, but it's going to be too close for comfort. So if you are in the Ellisville area, we want you to take shelter right now, even though, as we take a look at the warning, well, okay. I put on the warning and notice that they did issue a new tornado warning downstream, which is not surprising at all because the rotation with this has been pretty healthy this entire time. So I'm just going to pause for just a second here, and we're going to read off the new tornado warning. All right, so the new warning is that new polygon, that new red area right there that does include Ellisville, and it does include the city of Laurel. So at 7:10, which was less than 2 minutes ago, the National Weather Service out of Jackson issued a tornado warning for eastern Jones County until 8:15. So we've got another hour and 3 minutes on the new tornado warning. It's that polygon a little bit farther to the east there. This is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Moselle, also near Ellisville, moving to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. The good news is it is a radar-indicated rotation. Good news in the fact that we don't have anything confirmed on the ground We don't have a debris signature, so it's not radar confirmed, and we don't have a storm spotter telling us that they are actually seeing a funnel cloud or a tornado on the ground. But you still need to treat this as a tornado, because this severe thunderstorm, if it's not already producing a tornado, can do so at a moment's notice. And it's moving still at a steady clip to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So places that are going to be in the path of this dangerous storm are going to be Ellisville at about 720, Laurel at 725, Tucker's Crossing around 735, and Mill Creek at about 7:55. The current time is about 7:15. So you know what to do. You need to get to that safe spot. If you're in Ellisville, you don't have a whole lot of time. The storm is going to be near you in about 5 minutes or so. You've got a little bit more time if you live in Laurel or Tucker's Crossing or Mill Creek, but don't waste time. Go ahead, get into that safe spot right now so you can be there when the storm is crossing your area. So as we zoom in here, you'll notice that we're zooming into the Towanda area. That's where the rotation is right now between Rainey and Towanda. Now, if you're in Rainey, I know we've been calling that community out a lot as well. I really think the rotation is now to the east of you. And even though you're still in the old warning for about the next 50 seconds, that old warning is going to be dropping out here in less than a minute, and you're not going to be in the tornado warning anymore if you're in Shelton or if you're in Rainey. So we can sound the all clear for those communities. Also, Moselle, I think the rotating part of this severe thunderstorm is north of you, but it is really closing in on Towanda, and it's going to be moving to these communities that you see within this red polygon downstream. So let's track it out to the edge of the polygon. This is going to take it over, let's say, the next 45 minutes. And here are the specific times at specific places where the storm is going to be. Ellisville, 720 to about 727. Pecan Grove, 733. Crotts at 738. Powers at 747. And Myrick at 752. Now, again, there's the old warning coming off. So now the current warning is just this one warning right there that includes Ellisville and Laurel. The rotating part of this, just about to cross the interstate, crossing Interstate 59, so we don't need anybody to be out on the roadway, not only along the interstate, but also along Highway 11 and some of these smaller streets as well. Let's track some of those. Hidden Hills Lane, Highway 590. Of course, that's Highway 11 right there. That is Armisi Road. That would be south of Benson and Towanda. And this is Dacetown Road. So again, all of these areas are going to be affected by this storm right now. As the radar is updating, you can see exactly where the rotating part of the storm is right now, and it's crossing the interstate as we speak, crossing Highway 11 just to the north and east of Towanda, going to be very close to Ellisville. Maybe on the south side, maybe not. Ellisville, a very populated area, so we need everybody that lives in Ellisville to get into your pre-designated safe spot and stay there for at least the next 10 to 15 minutes. Remember, we were expecting this to be approaching Ellisville at about 7:20. Well, the current time is almost 17. So about 3 minutes away from the storm approaching Ellisville, and it's going to be around there for, let's say, the next 5 minutes or so. So between now and the bottom of the hour, if you live around Ellisville, north or south of there, you need to be in your safe spot, and you need to get there in very short order if you live anywhere to the east of Ellisville, like Pecan Grove, Curry, Tucker's Crossing, Walters, any of these smaller communities that are popping in as we're zooming in. There's your rotation, and there's where the storm is headed. All of these communities are going to be in the path of a severe thunderstorm, which is capable of producing a tornado. What about the hail with the storm? Well, let's take off everything except the hail. Now, this is what we call hail tracks. This is kind of a history of the hail that has been produced by this storm. Now, the warning was first issued I would say probably about 45 minutes ago, when it was in Marion County, and you can see the hail that was being produced there was a little bit larger, but we do see a hail track across Marion, Lamar, southeast Jefferson Davis, southern Covington, and now tracking into Jones County. So the storm capable of producing a tornado, capable of producing hail, it is producing a ton of lightning strikes, dangerous lightning strikes. So we need for you to be inside when the storm is passing through. And obviously there's going to be a lot of heavy rain associated with this as well, along with the gusty, potentially damaging and rotating winds, which are quickly approaching the populated community of Ellisville. It is now past Tewanta, it's north of Benson, and it's moving over towards Ellisville and Curry and Pecan Grove. Now we've got team coverage of what's happening with this storm. We've got in studio meteorologist Brianna Medina and also Gracie Dencaus, and we're going to send it over to Gracie right now.
Thanks so much, Ken. Yeah, right now, remember, we are just an overview of what's going on out there. Pretty active scene, as not everyone's seeing heavy rainfall, but those who are also seeing some pretty strong thunderstorms. Right now, we have one tornado warned storm, and it is going to be in Jones County, strictly Jones County. Earlier, we were talking about several counties. The same system has held together and now moved through several of our counties in Jeff Davis, also in Covington and in Forest. But right now, we are looking at in Jones County, especially along Interstate 59, I should say. Definitely not a good place to be traveling right now. If you are under this polygon, we want you to find your safe place. And right now, dropping heavy rainfall, possibly could even see a tornado being put down. Earlier, we were watching the debris tracker just to make sure there was nothing, had possibly a scare that we saw some debris, but not looking at a tornado debris signature right now, and we haven't yet to see one. We've yet to have someone on the ground confirming that there's a tornado. So right now we know that it is radar indicated. As Ken was saying, that's great news, but we want to treat it like it's on the ground. It's better to be safe than sorry, and this has been a strong thunderstorm that has rotating winds for now over 30 minutes. Closer, we'll be approaching an hour as we're going to be on air here covering this particular storm until at least 8:15 unless it expires before then. So right now, the center of circulation is just south of Ellisville. Now, Tewanta, you're on the very edge of this polygon. I believe you can go ahead and get out of your safe place or in the all clear. The center of rotation at least is past you. Maybe hold off just a few more minutes just to stay on the safer side. But here's the rotation right now. Around 590, Highway 11 is where it's moving towards. Also Highway 29, all of those intersecting right here at where the center of circulation is at. And with every scan, we're not seeing any weakening of where this is rotating right now. So we know that we've got red colors. This indicates winds going away from the radar. We've got green right here, winds going towards the radar site, up towards in Rankin County near Brandon. So we know we're fairly far away from the radar site right now, but we know that still we're going to be watching this and checking that we're not seeing any indication of a confirmed tornado. But right now, if you are around Dacetown Road, just north of Benson, you need to be in your safe place. Ellisville, also along Highway 11, 29, Walters, Buffalo Hill Road. This center of circulation is just to the south of you. It's going to be moving north and east towards Industrial Boulevard. Once again, Walters, Curie, also Glade, all of these areas need to take shelter at this time. Laurel, populated area right here, Laurel, Glade, Powers, also along Highway 84, very well-traveled road. We don't need anyone traveling along Highway 84 right now or Interstate 59. Two of the biggest concerns, the worst place to be in a tornado-warned storm is going to be in a vehicle or in a mobile home. Those are the two worst places to be. We want to go ahead and get you in a safe, sturdy structure on the lowest floor. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible in order to keep yourself safe. Also, you could possibly grab something to cover your head. We know that blunt force trauma to the head is one of the most common injuries to see during a tornado if you do see a tornado on the ground. So right now, the latest update is showing more of a strengthening. Once again, no weakening, which is not a good sign. We have right now on top of 590, Ellisville, just south of you. Pecan Grove, you need to be in your safe place. Tucker's Crossing, Glade, Walters, Mount Zion. It is to the south of you. You're under the tornado warning though, so go ahead and take extra precaution at this time and get in your safe place. I want to track it out for you at exactly how fast it is. So we're going to move it down here to the edge of your screen and go ahead and give you an updated estimated time of arrival of where this particular rotating thunderstorm is moving all the way from the edge of the polygon, just to give everyone the most accurate timing here. And from the center of circulation, drawing it out through all the way through the polygon, that's about 20 miles of where this is moving. Here's a look at an estimated time of where you could possibly be seeing this. Pecan Grove, you've got about 7 minutes lead time to get in your safe place. 7:36 for Tucker's Crossing, 7:40 in Antioch, 7:45 in Powers and Myrick, 7:49 and 7:58 in Pineview. So go ahead and get in your safe place, which you should already know at this time. We've been talking about this severe weather moving through all modes of severe weather possible. Again, we're just talking about some hail that has been noted and has been reported with these thunderstorms, and we know strong winds. Whether this is putting a tornado down or not, we know that these straight line winds are just as damaging. But for right now, we can see red and green colors indicating rotation that we have. It is weakening. It looks like the couplet could possibly be weakening, but we still have bright red and green colors right next to each other. So that is not something that we want to see at this time, but the correlation coefficient, our debris tracker is what we call it here. We could see lots of noise here. We don't know that there's a particular area of a debris ball, which we would be able to tell you and indicate that there is a confirmed tornado on the ground. I'm going to check with the National Weather Service just to make sure that there is not any new updates of how fast the storm is moving, or if there's a confirmation. We're looking just near Tucker's Crossing, seeing where this exact area of rotation is. And once again, it is still an impressive signature there. And I want to circle it for everyone just to get an idea of where we would be seeing this tornado if it was putting on the ground. Once again, no confirmation, but I'm going to treat it like it is. 590 and also Highway 11 and Interstate 59 included in this polygon. Tucker's Crossing, Walters, you need to be in your safe place at this time, and tracking it just once again to give you an idea of who needs to be in their safe place at this time. The immediate concern for areas of Pecan Grove, Walters, Indian Springs, Hessler Noble Field, Don Kurt Road, Laurel, big populated area, East View, Powers, Highway 15, all of these areas, Smith Chapel Road, Hawks, and Highway 11, just to name a few areas. Clio, also somewhere to be concerned of at this time. Pool Creek Road, you're further downstream. Y'all have more lead time, but want to go ahead and find that safe place now. Red Hill for Florence Road, also Pleasant Grove, Pineview on the very edge of this storm, but it could very well hold together. We've seen this particular storm hold together fairly well over the last several minutes. And with that being said, I do think that it could possibly stay fairly strong, keep that strength that it has right now. 7:26, and this does not expire until 8:15. We'll be with you every step of the way as long as we can and update you with the most recent update. So right now, looking at the debris tracker, not seeing any type of indication of a strong debris signature. I'm going to check with some of the other radar sites so we can get a better vantage point of exactly where or if we do have debris being lofted into the air. And looking at the Mobile, we can still seeing indications of rotation, but once again, it is hard to really get a good idea about this. Zooming back into the area of concern now, it's going to be only for areas in Jones County. So this is the strictly Jones County storm that we're talking about. If you're in Jones County, you need to be aware right now, and you need to be looking at where this storm is just to get yourself in a safe place to protect you and your family, anyone else that you may know that could be in the pathway of this storm. Once again, it's going to be including Interstate 59, very well-traveled road, including areas of Laurel, Clio, Pineview, Sandersville also, and Highway 84. Highway 15 is also included in that. Ellisville, it is now to the north of you, but once again, we're seeing more of a broadening of this rotation. We're not going to let our guard down at this time. We still know that with this strong rotation, we're going to keep this tornado warning, and the National Weather Service has not let it expire, but at this time we're still watching this. I want to go ahead and look at everything else we're looking at. Look how tremendous and how many lightning strikes this storm is producing right now. This is not something to play around with. We know every threat of a severe thunderstorm, although lightning does not make a storm severe, it can still be very dangerous. So right now, let's look at how much we're seeing just in Jones County, and very tremendous amounts, well over 500 lightning strikes here, and that will continue as long as this storm holds up and it's showing its strength as it does now, and it has had a history of holding together as well. Looking at the National Weather Service, we are seeing just some updates from them, and they're talking about some of the signatures we're getting from the correlation coefficient, but once again, nothing that is a clear signature that we have a tornado on the ground. We're still going to treat it like it is. Let's take off the lightning here so we can get a better idea of the latest scans. And still looking at areas of rotation. Now it is approaching Pecan Grove Road. It is just passed. There you go. Once again, the latest update and scan has really broadened out a good bit, in my opinion, and it's going to be approaching Highway 15, moving towards areas of Glades, Tucker's Crossing, Powers, and in Myrick as well. Just some areas that are under the gun for this particular rotating thunderstorm, but as of now, it is weakening just slightly. For more updates and analysis on this particular storm, I'm going to send things back over to Chief Meteorologist Ken South.
All right, thank you, Gracie. I share your opinion. The past couple of scans not looking as good as it did just several minutes ago. Now, we're still under a tornado warning, so we're going to stay with you over the next several minutes as this continues. In fact, the current warning, I believe, goes until about 8:15. So technically, we've got 45 more minutes, but if it continues to weaken like it seems to be, we do have hopes that maybe this warning could be canceled a little bit early. But as Gracie was showing you just a few minutes ago, it really looked like a tight couplet when it was around the Ellisville area. And now that is not the case anymore. Although, obviously, we're still seeing greens and reds next to one another. So there's still some rotation there, but it has really broadened out over the past several minutes. The rotation is going to be south and east of the Laurel area, now east of Ellisville. So don't let your guard down if you live along Interstate. Let's say that is, this is, about to say that was I-20, but that is not I-20. That is Highway 84. If you live along Highway 84 east of Laurel and to the east of Interstate 59, you're still under a tornado warning. So we want you to play it safe, get into your safe spot, and stay there until we can tell you that you are in the clear. So we should probably do that for some folks that are now past the storm. Ellisville and points west, I think you're okay for right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at Live IMAX 2 full screen, and we'll take a closer view of this. And I actually want to go back in time so we can see exactly where that rotation was. So we'll take you back to about 7:19. That's really just about 12 minutes ago, and you can easily tell right there on the south side of Ellisville that we have the rotation associated with this thunderstorm that was pretty pronounced. But as we go forward in time, you can see how it advances to the east across Jones County, and it really is diffuse right now. In fact, you see the reds, you see the greens right now, but it is certainly the wind speeds have decreased, and we are not seeing a tight couplet. We're not seeing those winds turning in on one another like they did before. Now, could this tighten up again? It certainly could, and we're going to continue with this tornado warning as long as the National Weather Service is holding on to it. by the way, there is the current tornado warning. Ellisville, you're still in the warning, but I really think that you're in the clear right now. The worst of the weather is going to be passing to the east of you and to the south of Laurel. Let's go ahead and take a look at the radar there. Now, it's still raining in Laurel, and anywhere even close to this thunderstorm, you've got the potential for lightning strikes. So even though the rotating part of the storm may be past you, if you live in Ellisville, you need to stay inside because we've got heavy rain out there just to the east of you, and we've got a ton of lightning strikes being produced by this intense severe thunderstorm, which is dangerous. So we want you to stay sheltered, stay inside. You may get out of your safe spot if you live in Ellisville or points west of there. If you live east of Ellisville, you need to still be in that safe spot, at least for the next several minutes. Let's go ahead and take the lightning off once again. And if you take a look at the radar here, there is still what we can see is a little bit of a notch. That would be the wind being drawn in to the storm right there. So if it's rotating, we would expect it to be right in about this area, south of Laurel and east of Highway 11, Interstate 59, and east of Ellisville. But that's going to put other areas, of course, in the path of the storm. So as you look downstream, Tucker's Crossing and Myrick and south of Highway 84 in eastern Jones County, you're still going to be in the path of this storm. As we zoom in a little bit closer, some of those smaller communities pop in like Antioch, just to the east of Tucker's Crossing, and some of these streets may be popping in as well. Let's go ahead and query some of these roads that are going to be in the path of the storm over the next several minutes. We've got Antioch Drive, Molly Boutwell Road, and Walt Culpeper Road. Now, I know that's very specific, but we want to be specific in a case like this because there is a potential for a tornado to be put down with this storm. Even though it looks like it's weakening, we can't know for sure. I mean, we're not in the area, so that's why as long as this tornado warning is in effect for this part of Jones County, we need you to be in your safe spot. If you live right there along Highway 15 and south of Highway 84, anywhere between Highway 15 and Highway 84, to the east of Ellisville, to the south of Laurel, around Glade, Powers, and Myrick, you've got the potential for a severe thunderstorm, which is rotating and could put down a tornado. Now, let's take a look at our hail once again with the storm, and we've actually seen that kind of intensify a little bit south of Laurel. Let's see if we can query some of the hail there, and let's see, we've got the potential. There we go, hail query, and we've got a potential for about quarter-sized hail. That's about 1 inch in diameter hail, let's say between Interstate 59 and Highway 15 associated with this storm. So it's a nasty thunderstorm. If you just take a look at the storm, heavy rain, tons of lightning, hail being produced by the storm. Even if it's not putting down a tornado, it's the type of storm that you want to take shelter from until we can tell you that it's either weakened or it's not severe anymore or it's past your area. If you live in Ellisville, it's past your area. Certainly if you live anywhere to the to the west of Ellisville, Tawanta, Shelton, those areas that we've been calling out a lot over the past half hour or so, you're in the all clear as far as the rotating part of this thunderstorm is concerned. But downstream, we are still looking at heavy rain, lightning strikes, at least quarter-sized hail, and the potential for rotation with the storm. Although, as we take a look at the velocity product, it does not look nearly as good as it did several minutes ago. About 20 minutes ago, this was a clear indication of rotation. If we just took a look at this one frame of velocity, you might not issue a tornado warning for this because it does not look impressive at all. We don't have very strong wind speeds, and we don't have a tight couplet at all anymore with the storm, but there's still a tornado warning. But here's a good sign. Look at this. For Wayne County, downstream, they're still considering this a severe thunderstorm for all of the reasons that we mentioned before, the potential for that quarter-sized hail and the potential for at least about 58 to 60 mile per hour wind gust. But they're not seeing a clear rotation with it. So as it begins to transition out of Jones County and into Wayne County, they're not going to continue with a tornado warning downstream, but they will continue with a severe thunderstorm warning downstream. So that's a good sign. Let's take a look at the particulars with the severe thunderstorm warning. Now I'm just going to turn the radar on so you can see the warning. Let's go ahead and put the warnings back on. I'm going to query this severe thunderstorm warning. So, all right, so this is a severe thunderstorm. This is the yellow polygon that we're talking about now in Wayne County. It's got a tornado possible tag because, again, there is rotation still in Jones County. It just isn't as tight as it was before. Now, this tornado warning is, this severe thunderstorm warning is going to be in effect until 8:15. Let's go ahead and read out the current warning. This coming from the National Weather Service out of Mobile at 7:33. That was 5 minutes ago. The National Weather Service in Mobile issued a severe thunderstorm warning for central Wayne County until 8:15. A severe thunderstorm located over Tucker's Crossing in Jones County, or 6 miles to the east of Ellisville, was moving to the east at about 35 miles per hour. The storm is capable, according to the National Weather Service out of Mobile, of producing ping pong ball sized hail and 60 mile per hour wind gusts. So strong, potentially damaging winds and large, potentially damaging hail coming out of the storm, coming out of Jones County. Let's go ahead and query. We've also got an update on the tornado warning. Notice how the red polygon was trimmed back a little bit here. So let's read out the update to the tornado warning for northeastern Jones County at 7:38, and that is about 1 minute ago. A tornado warning remaining in effect until 8:15 for northeastern Jones County. At 7:37, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Tucker's Crossing, or 8 miles to the southeast of Laurel, moving east at about 30 miles per hour. This storm, they say, is still capable of producing a tornado and quarter-sized hail, and it is a radar-indicated rotation. Now, what you should know is the tornado warning is being issued by the National Weather Service out of Jackson. The severe thunderstorm warning for Wayne County is being issued out of the National Weather Service out of Mobile. So two different offices are watching the same cell, and for right now they have different opinions about it. The one in Jackson continuing the tornado warning for northeastern Jones County until 8:15 because, again, there's at least some rotation there. But for Mobile, they're not seeing enough of a rotation to continue a tornado warning into Wayne County. So they're going to pick up with a severe thunderstorm warning there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the velocity. And again, it's very diffuse. It is not a tight couplet. I would expect that hopefully this is going to be canceled by the National Weather Service out of Jackson in the next few minutes, because at its forward motion, it really isn't going to even be in Jones County very much longer. It's about 6 miles or about 11 minutes away from crossing the county line into Wayne County, at which point this is just going to be a Wayne County storm, and the National Weather Service out of Mobile has determined that they're just going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning for this cell. So we're going to be with you for about, let's say, the next 15 minutes or so, and then I think we're going to be able to go back to regular programming because, again, the cell will be in Wayne County, and in Wayne County, it's not going to be a tornado-warned storm. But for more analysis on what's happening right now in Jones and in Wayne County, I'm going to send it back over to meteorologist Gracie Dincalls.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ken, for that update. As he was saying, we were looking at some pretty strong and large damaging hail that has been radar indicated, but we also had some news being relayed from the National Weather Service that was confirming that we've got some pretty large hail out there. So beside the tornado, possibly tornado threat that could be being produced right now from this rotating thunderstorm, we've got very, very heavy rainfall, lots of lightning, and damaging hail that could be on the larger side, especially as it moves into Wayne County. As we just mentioned, that this could be ping pong sized hail moving into Wayne County as it crosses over the county line road. But right now we've been talking about this weakening area of circulation, and it's still looking fairly weak, which is good news. Here it is right now just to the north and west of Myrick and south of Powers. This is where we're looking at the area of concern right now. Tucker's Crossing, you are now not in the area of concern. Also Lanham, you are in the all clear. Other areas we can give all clear. Ellisville, especially now well to the west of the polygon. Crotts as well. Highway 29 and also in and along Interstate 59 in areas of Laurel. That's where we're just seeing that fairly large hail and the rotation, but you can see it continues to weaken. So it's not likely that they'll continue or possibly issue another tornado warning for this, as we are still seeing a strong thunderstorm. But I don't think the main concern at this time is going to be a tornado that will be put down on the ground. So once again, very, very strong. You can see that here, tons of lightning strikes here within the minute. We do not want to be outside. We know this can be very damaging, very dangerous as well. But on top of that, we've got, looking at our hail tracker, you can see here, we definitely have some indication by our radar that we could be seeing some hail in Clio, in Myrick, also moving into areas of Pineview. This is where that storm is headed, to the north and east at 30 miles per hour at this time. And we can, just to give you an update to track this out for you, we can definitely look at where this center of circulation is heading as it moves over the county line from Jones into Wayne County. And I believe we're not concerned, once again, with this weakening area of rotation. We are going to stay on here as long as we do need to. This expires at 8:15. Now we know it could expire sooner than that, but with the severe thunderstorm warning being very good news as it continues that downstream from the National Weather Service in Mobile, we know that they're not as concerned with a possible tornado with this rotating thunderstorm right now. So let's track it out for you just to give you an idea of where it's headed. The center of circulation right now is, it's really hard to tell at this time because we have Myrick right here, Pineview, and it's a very, very broad area of circulation where the red and the greens do meet, and it's far from the radar site. So with all of that being said, we can track it from this area of Myrick and Tucker's Crossing all the way through the severe thunderstorm warning right as it updates as well. 7:59, moving into areas of Stringford, 8:10, Whistler, 8:27, Waynesboro, very strong thunderstorm with winds that are rotating right now. 8:33 in Winchester as well. So here's that area of circulation and the very edge of this tornado warning polygon. It is creeping closer to the county line and soon to be out of Jones County and into Wayne County. Once it does move over, we should be able to let you go back over to regular programming as it continues to weaken and not show signs of strong rotation, especially no signs of an evident debris ball here being lofted into the air. We're seeing very noisy conditions here on the debris tracker, our correlation coefficient product, and once again, even looking at different radar sites, we can still see a fairly good weakening of exactly what's happening in our velocity. So just to give you a perspective of how it's looked the last couple of minutes, we saw fairly good area of rotation, but it's been weak now for several radar scans. Right now is over Myrick and just south of Pineview, what we're looking at and what we're concerned with, moving at 30 miles per hour. That is that rotating thunderstorm in Jones County, moving into Wayne County, which we're going to go ahead and look at the latest update as we see we do transfer over different National Weather Service offices, and we're watching what they're going to say about this storm moving into Wayne County as well. But taking an overview, looking at just a general idea of what's happening on the radar as well, you can see here, let's turn off that lightning so we can see what's going on Not an impressive signature as far as what we're looking at on reflectivity and base reflectivity. You can see just lots of heavy rainfall, and of course the threat for hail is there. The threat for stronger winds is going to be there, some damaging wind gusts, but as of now, I'm not thinking that anything is strong enough to be rotating and producing a tornado on the ground. That's the latest update, but once again, we are still looking at, we want to make sure we're still taking shelter. If you're under this tornado warning, if you're in areas of Clio, Pine View, Tucker's Crossing, and Myrick, even downstream into Wayne County and Ukiah, Whistler, along Highway 84. It's still moving your direction. It's a strong thunderstorm. We know that could be possibly putting down some hail. That could do some damage to you as well. Here's the latest update, and we'll go over to our velocity product one more time to get a better idea of how that rotation is looking. Still seeing a very slight hint of rotation there with those reds, and that is indicating winds going away from the radar. The green color indicating winds going towards the radar. So that is just south of Pine View, very close to the county line. And once it moves over to the county line, I do think that they'll allow this to expire here at the National Weather Service in Jackson as it moves over and really just stays on the weaker side. We're not seeing a very strong couplet where we usually do, indicating a good sign of rotation. There's still some rotation out there. That's why we are on air continuously tracking this particular storm. But as of now, we're not the most concerned that it could be producing a tornado. Elsewhere across the region, we're still seeing heavy rainfall, and we're watching things very closely as we do have more severe thunderstorm warnings back off to the west that will be moving north and east as most storms have been moving today. And this is over in Natchez and in Jefferson County, moving into Copiah County as well in Franklin and in Lincoln County. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning there. But for areas in the Pine Belt, our concern is this one storm that has lost some of its strength and its potency as far as the rotation goes. So we'll take this lightning off and give you an update of the latest scans, of course. And here is where that rotation is very, very close to exiting the tornado warning polygon. And we'll just zoom in here to some of our areas. Pine View, Jack Clark Road, Ukiah, Walter Ridge, you're all included in a severe thunderstorm warning. So at this time, you want to use extra precaution, stay indoors if you can. We know it's still seeing damaging wind and heavy rainfall, possibly the potential for some damaging large hail out there with this storm. Hawaii, Highway 45 included in a severe thunderstorm warning. The reason we're on air, though, is because of this system that has been strong over the last I would say about a half an hour ago. It held together fairly well for many, many scans, but as of lately, we've been talking about it weakening, which is a good sign. We don't have a tight rotation there that is being indicated by our radar site. So looking at it right now, it will be south of Pine View. We're going to continue to watch this, though. I think if we have any more updates from the National Weather Service, we will let you know at this time, but I will send things back over to Chief Meteorologist Ken South, any updates on the storm.
All right, thank you, Gracie, so much for that. We continue to watch the National Weather Service chat because I expect any minute now, because the storm is transitioning eastward into Wayne County, that they're going to cancel that tornado warning for northeastern Jones County. It's still in effect right now. I do want to show you, of course, this is the reflectivity. This is just a look at the radar, and the worst of the cell is right there, right on the county line between Jones and Wayne County, mostly south of Highway 84. I think that's where we've got the best potential for gusty winds and maybe still some small hail with the storm. I want to show you the storm reports. We usually get these several minutes after a storm has moved through the area, if anything has happened, and we actually do have some report of some wind damage right there around Glade. 5-inch tree limbs snapped and trash cans displaced there. And then a little bit farther to the north, you see right there south of Laurel, there is a report of some hail right around Lower Myrick Road near Highway 15 south of Laurel. So we are beginning to get reports after this severe thunderstorm moved through central Jones County of wind damage and some large hail being produced by the storm. Thankfully, though, nothing significant in terms of wind damage. We haven't had any reports of what we would think of as a tornado that actually hit that part of the county, but of course we're not going to know until after the fact. The National Weather Service, if we get any significant damage here, they'll go out and they'll survey and they'll tell us whether this was just straight line winds that came through or an actual tornado. So again, the worst of it is transitioning into Wayne County, where we do now have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 8:15 with a tornado possible tag, because again, there is just a little bit of rotation still associated with this, but it's not as good as it was several minutes ago. Still some reds and some greens near one another, south of Highway 84, south of Pineview, making its way towards Whistler. But you should know, if you are in Wayne County, that you are under a severe thunderstorm warning here for the potential for at least, I believe, is it ping pong ball sized hail? I believe when they issued this, let's go ahead and let's query that just to make sure. Yes, the threat when this warning was issued was coming from the potential for ping pong ball sized hail and up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. So those are the threats that will continue until 8:15, which is about the next 25 minutes. For right now, though, okay, tornado warning has been canceled. So that's what we have been expecting over the past several minutes. Let's take a look at all the watches and the warnings right now across not only the Pine Belt, but all of Mississippi. And there you see the big blue shaded area is a severe thunderstorm watch until midnight. The yellow polygons are severe thunderstorm warnings. Of course, we've been talking about the one for Wayne County. We have more storms back off to the west. There's another warning right here for Claiborne, Jefferson, Copiah, Lincoln, Franklin, and Adams County, and then one for West Alabama as well. There's a look at the radar. It's not a solid line, but we've got more thunderstorms that are back here to the west of the Pine Belt, which will be moving through between now and midnight tonight. The tornado threat should be low for the rest of this evening. Hopefully this warning that just expired is going to be our last tornado warning of the evening. But if we do get another one, of course, we will break in and let you know to keep you as safe as possible as the severe weather continues to march through the Pine Belt. For right now, though, we're going to send you back to regular programming.
This has been a Storm Team 22 Severe Weather Alert. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming, already in progress. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming, already in progress.
FBI.